The excitement around Rangers' summer signings has been growing week by week, and two names are starting to draw more and more attention from the fans at Ibrox: Tellef Argard and Chermati. These two arrivals, one a creative force from Norway and the other a Portuguese striker with a point to prove, are beginning to write their stories in Glasgow, and each chapter is getting more compelling. Let's start with Tellef Argard, the Norwegian midfielder whose arrival from Luton Town raised a few eyebrows at first. At just 23 years old, Argard came with a decent price tag, £3.5 million, and big expectations. But after a rocky start, he's finally starting to show exactly why Rangers invested in him. Supporters had been waiting to see what he could bring to this side, and it looks like they're starting to get their answer. Argard was a standout in the recent Premier Sports Cup quarter-final win over Hibernian, where Rangers came away with a clean 2-0 victory. In that match, Argard didn't just participate. He dictated the tempo, pulled the strings, and injected a much-needed spark into the number 10 role. That performance didn't come out of nowhere. Earlier in the month, Argard had a confidence-boosting international break where he scored 4 goals in Norway's stunning 11-1 demolition of Moldova. That kind of display, even on the international stage, says a lot about a player's rhythm and form. But make no mistake, the journey hasn't been easy for him. Before the season even kicked off, Argard suffered a frustrating injury that delayed his debut and robbed him of what could have been a momentum-building preseason. According to his father, Jonathan, missing out on the clash with Panathinaikos hit the midfielder hard. He was ready to go, eager to make an impression, and then suddenly sidelined. That kind of setback can derail a player's start at a new club, especially when expectations are high and the pressure's on from day one. But to his credit, Argard bounced back quickly. Since recovering, he's been determined to make up for lost time, and the signs are all positive. His technical ability, vision, and off-the-ball movement are standing out more and more with each appearance. And at a club where the number 10 role has been a revolving door in recent seasons, Argard is starting to look like the answer Rangers have been searching for. He's not just filling the gap, he's claiming the position as his own. The timing of his rise is also critical. Lyle Cameron, who arrived from Dundee, had his moments earlier in the campaign but has lacked consistency. Argard, with his creativity and energy, is beginning to pull ahead in that internal battle for a place in the starting 11. In just 7 appearances, he's already given fans and coaches a glimpse of his full potential. And if he keeps progressing at this rate, the roar of Ibrox might just become the soundtrack to his rise. But Argard is not the only new face fighting to make an impact in Glasgow. Chermati, the young striker who arrived from Everton on deadline day in a deal worth £8 million, is also carving out his path. At 21, Chermati is still raw, still learning, but he's also driven by something you can't teach: hunger. The Portuguese forward arrived in Scotland after a frustrating spell down south, where he struggled to make an impression in the Premier League. In fact, his time at Everton has been defined more by missed opportunities than by goals. 2 years without finding the back of the net at senior level is a tough pill to swallow for any young striker. But Chermati doesn't hide from that. He's open about his struggles, and even more open about his desire to turn the page. Speaking to Rangers' official matchday program, he revealed just how much this move means to him. He's been surprised, in a good way, by how warmly he's been welcomed, and he's already settled into life in Glasgow far better than he expected. That comfort off the pitch is crucial, especially for a player who admitted to having a rough transition when he first moved to England. Back then, the language barrier, the isolation, and the lack of support weighed heavily. But now, in Scotland, he feels ready. He understands the culture, speaks the language, and most importantly, he feels like he belongs. So far, Chermati has mostly featured from the bench, with Bojan Majowski preferred as the central striker in Russell Martin's 4-3-3 setup. But that hasn't dampened his drive. Chermati knows he has work to do, but he also knows that the opportunity is there. And unlike in his previous stops, he feels trusted here. That trust, he says, makes all the difference. At Sporting, he was too young and too shy to build a real relationship with the coach. At Everton, things just never clicked. But at Rangers, he feels seen, heard, and believed in. It's not about money for him. It's about playing football, growing as a player, and proving himself on the pitch. One connection that helped seal the deal was a conversation with Kevin Thel, and a meeting with manager Russell Martin. Chermati didn't need much convincing. He already followed Rangers and had friends who spoke highly of Martin, including Matheus Fernandes, a former teammate from Sporting. That familiarity gave him confidence. And now, the only thing on his mind is fighting for more minutes, earning his spot, and scoring goals. The timing couldn't be better, either. Rangers have endured their worst league start since 1978, and pressure is mounting on the manager to turn things around. A dynamic, refreshed forward line could be exactly what's needed. Chermati brings a different profile compared to Majowski. He's more physical, holds the ball well, and likes to play with his back to goal. If he can start delivering in front of goal, the fans will quickly take to him. It's clear that Chermati is not here to be a passenger. He wants to be a protagonist, and with the right support, he might just surprise a lot of people who've already written him off. His time at Everton might not have gone to plan, but those 2 years, the failures, the injuries, the lonely nights, have made him stronger. He's not the same kid who arrived in England. Now he's a man on a mission. While Argard and Chermati are both gaining momentum, there are still some concerns elsewhere in the squad. One area that's drawn criticism is the reliance on Mikey Moore. The 18-year-old winger arrived on loan from Spurs after a breakthrough year in London, and some fans had hoped he would bring immediate impact to the Rangers' attack. But it hasn't been that straightforward. Moore is still adapting, still learning, and he's been thrown into a team that hasn't yet found its rhythm. The pressure on him to perform is immense, and some have questioned the strategy behind bringing in such a young player on loan and expecting him to carry a misfiring front line. Pundits have pointed out that Rangers may have overestimated what Moore could deliver so early in his career. He's still developing, still figuring out his best position, and being deployed out of position on the right side hasn't helped his case. On top of that, Rangers are already overloaded with right-footed wingers who prefer to cut in from the left, which limits options and puts even more strain on the youngster. It's not that Moore lacks talent. It's just that the environment around him might not be the best setup for him to thrive right now. Still, there's a bigger picture here. With Argard finding form, Chermati growing into his role, and players like Raskin returning to the squad and making a difference, there's a sense that things are starting to shift. The midfield, in particular, is showing promise. Nicholas Raskin was back in the starting 11 against Hibs and marked his return with a goal, playing in a deeper number 6 role that Russell Martin had previously been reluctant to use him in. That change could unlock a better version of Mohamed Diomande, too, who's also struggled to find his rhythm this season. And while the midfield begins to take shape with the likes of Raskin, Diomande, and Argard showing flashes of balance and cohesion, Rangers' coaching staff know full well that individual brilliance alone won't be enough. The real test lies in consistency, something that has eluded this side through the opening stretch of the season. Russell Martin's tenure is already under heavy scrutiny, and with pressure building from the terraces, each decision he makes going forward will be under the microscope. What makes the situation even more delicate is the reliance on players still adapting to life in Glasgow. Take Mikey Moore, for instance. The winger, still only 18, arrived from Tottenham with a big reputation and even bigger expectations. His performances in England had people talking, and there's no doubt that he's a player with potential. But Rangers may have gambled too early, hoping Moore could deliver from the get-go and provide a spark to a front line still searching for chemistry. That pressure would be difficult for any young player to carry, even more so in a league and a team he's unfamiliar with. It's one thing to develop a prospect over time. It's another to throw him into a system that hasn't found its rhythm and ask him to lead the charge. That's where some of the frustration from supporters and pundits is coming from. The belief is that too much has been asked of Moore too soon, and that perhaps the club could have looked for more seasoned reinforcements on that right side of attack. The problem is not his attitude or commitment. It's the situation he's been placed in. Moore looks far more comfortable when drifting in from the left, but that area of the pitch is already stacked with similar profiles. Instead, he's been tasked with operating on the right, often in unfamiliar positions, and it's shown in his performances. There's a learning curve here, and it's one that Rangers may have underestimated. You cannot rush development, and unfortunately, that lesson seems to be unfolding in real time at Ibrox. Yet amid the tactical headaches and squad reshuffling, there are encouraging signs beginning to surface. One of them is the resilience being shown by players like Chermati. The Portuguese striker knows he hasn't delivered yet, but he's not hiding from that. In fact, what stands out most is his willingness to confront the past, especially his tough spell at Everton, and use it as fuel. When asked about those 2 goalless years, he didn't flinch. He admitted it was hard. He admitted he struggled, but he also made it clear that those experiences have made him mentally stronger. Now, he feels better prepared to face adversity and more mature in how he handles setbacks on the pitch. What's also becoming clear is the strong relationship between Chermati and manager Russell Martin. The two have had honest conversations, and the striker has repeatedly said how important it is for him to feel valued. He's been vocal about how much it means to have a coach who listens, who communicates clearly, and who shows faith in him even when the goals haven't come. That connection might prove crucial in the weeks ahead. Rangers need goals. They need a striker to step up. And if Chermati continues to build trust with the manager and teammates, his breakthrough moment could come sooner than many expect. The same applies to Tellef Argard. For him, the past few months have been a roller coaster. He arrived with high hopes, hit a setback before kicking a ball, and had to wait patiently while others filled his position. But that patience is starting to pay off. His performance against Hibs in the Cup was not just a glimpse of what he's capable of, it was a statement. The way he controlled possession, created openings, and linked midfield to attack was exactly what Rangers have been crying out for. And if his international form is anything to go by, Argard's confidence is only growing. For goals in a single match for Norway, regardless of the opponent, is no small feat. That kind of firepower from midfield can change the course of a season. And when you add Nicholas Raskin back into the mix, now operating deeper and with more clarity in his role, the midfield dynamic starts to look a lot more stable. It wasn't long ago that supporters were questioning Raskin's place in the side. His form had dipped, and the balance of the midfield seemed off. But Martin's decision to shift him into the number 6 role seems to have unlocked something. Raskin's ability to read the game, break up opposition play, and distribute quickly suits that deeper role well. And if he continues to perform there, it could allow Diomande and Argard more freedom to roam and create in the final third. That trio, Raskin, Diomande, Argard, is beginning to look like the midfield spine Rangers have lacked. Each brings a different ingredient. Raskin brings control and composure. Diomande offers athleticism and drive. Argard adds flair and unpredictability. Together, they could give Rangers a foundation that not only stabilizes the side, but also allows the attack to function with more confidence and clarity. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. In what could be the transfer shakeup of the season, whispers are circulating that Scott McTOMINAY, the midfield engine of Manchester United, has finally made a decision that has tongues wagging across the footballing world. Sources close to the player suggest that McTominay has accepted what's being described as an irresistible offer from Rangers, the Glasgow Giants, who are reportedly eager to bolster their midfield with the Scotland international. While no official confirmation has yet come from either club, insiders hint that talks have progressed rapidly in the past few days, with McTominay personally approving the terms of a deal that could see him return north of the border. The speculation has sent shockwaves through Old Trafford, where fans had long hoped the 26-year-old would commit his future to the Red Devils. Yet, the lure of Rangers and the promise of a starring role in the Scottish Premiership seems to have been too strong to resist. Eyewitnesses close to the negotiations claim that McTominay has been weighing his options carefully, considering both his career trajectory and his personal ties to Scotland. The midfielder, known for his tenacity and box-to-box prowess, would bring a significant boost to Giovanni van Bronckhorst's squad, adding Premier League experience and leadership qualities that few Scottish clubs can match. Rumors suggest that Rangers see this as a marquee signing, one that could send a message not just domestically but across Europe. The chatter in Glasgow's football circles is already intense. Supporters are buzzing with anticipation, imagining a midfield anchored by McTominay, while rivals in Edinburgh and Aberdeen are reportedly bracing for a new era of Rangers dominance. Meanwhile, Manchester United fans are left in a mix of disbelief and resignation, wondering if the club could have done more to keep one of their homegrown stars. Of course, as with all transfer stories, caution is advised. Nothing is final until signatures are on the dotted line, and football's gossip mills are notoriously quick to inflate rumors. Still, the prevailing sense among those in the know is that this is more than mere speculation. McTOMINAY to Rangers could be closer than anyone dares to admit. Should the move materialize, it would mark a sensational homecoming and arguably one of the most talked about transfers of the year. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.